farther away.
Can you explain how that works?
It's blocked, and they just can't. They refuse to hear the evidence because it'll mess them up, because then they're going to have to change their mind.
Yeah, we have a friend that's just like that. He was actually born the day that they landed on the moon, supposedly. So we can't change his mind whatsoever. He fights us tooth and nail.
Andrew?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, the moon landing. I mean,
if you can't by now see that was a hoax, it's
yeah. This is the moon lander, right? I mean, if somebody sheetrocked your basement like that, you would demand a full refund. Okay, that's the heat shielding. Okay, right? This thing is ridiculous. Look at this. It's paper mache.
Oh, jeez.
Right? Tinfoil. It's so stupid.
And they got the rover on there too to fold it up and package it in there.
Yeah. So this is the stupid rover. Look, it's an umbrella and a beach chair. Okay, it's so dumb. Here, this is an umbrella. It's literally an umbrella. This is two beach chairs. All right, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. We were going over the lunar lander on a show this morning, and it's so ridiculous. Even to imagine two guys fitting in there. Tom, there you go.
Got me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Perfect.
So, no kids, just four flat earthers.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh boy.
How long have you been? Question for you, if that's okay.
Yeah. If we've got Tom here first, what were you going to say? How long have I been a flat earther?
Yeah. How long have you believed in all this?
Well, again,
when was the genesis of it?
Yeah, well, belief is the enemy of knowing. I was doing a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, and looking into all sorts of crazy deceptions, and then Flat Earth came up, and I rejected it. I'm like, you're an idiot. And then I was forced to look by a good friend, and that was like 2014. And again, I used to believe I lived on a ball, which was a religious belief, and I'm not religious. I say it's religious because I had zero proof. I just believed what somebody told me. And then when I went and looked at all those proofs, sunsets, seasons, day and night, eclipses, all boats over the horizons, all the things that were brainwashed into believing. I was just like, wow, each one of them not only rules out, it proves flat Earth. It rules out the globe and proves flat Earth. Go ahead,
right.
Anna.
Oh, I was just wondering, my question that I don't quite understand about the flat Earth is the moon phases. Can you explain how that works? That's one that I can never answer when somebody asks me about it. Someone, just when you're not talking, just mute yourself if you can easily, because we're going to start getting some feedback. So if you look here, the moon is right in front of the sun, and I'll speed it up. So the sun laps the moon once every 28 times around. So right now there's a new moon. We don't see any moon. Okay? A couple times around, then the moon will start lagging behind, and you'll have a crescent moon. And they say that the sun light is reflecting off the moon. I don't believe that at all, because we can prove that's not true with the brightness that we see the moon and the inverse square law of light. However, I do think that the sun's energy is tied to the moon, and the moon is self-illuminating with the position of the sun in mind. So the moon's phase is getting bigger and bigger as the moon gets farther and farther directly opposed to the sun. Now, the sun and the moon that we see, I don't believe are the actual sun and the moon. I think they're more of a projection inside of our dome, and what we call our azimuthal grid of vision. And I believe that they come from the sun and the moon are outside of the firmament, or within the firmament, but just not
underneath the firmament where we are, and that the sun is actually below the moon. It's lower than the moon. But again, these are things that are really hard to prove. But we can, if we look at what the heliocentric model tells us, it makes absolutely no sense. You know, there's eclipse this week in Australia, right? And so you know what the ring of fire is, right? When there's a total solar eclipse, you have the ring of fire, right? That means that in the heliocentric model, that the moon is a little farther away, so it's a little smaller, so it doesn't quite match the entire size of the sun. So as it goes across, when it's at the center of the sun, there's a little ring of fire around the outside, and then the moon continues to go away, right? You guys understand that, yes? Nod? Yes? Okay, so this eclipse is going to start out as a ring of fire, and then it's going to go into a total eclipse where there's no ring of fire, and then it's going to go back to a ring of fire, and then whatever is eclipsing the sun is going to exit the face of the sun. This is unexplainable in a heliocentric model. Now, in the flat Earth model, with everything being close, it makes sense. You know, the moon could come in close, right, and then it can get farther away. I don't know. We got to work it out, but it doesn't make sense. The thing is, we don't know exactly what causes a lunar eclipse, the shadow of the Earth on the moon. Okay? That's what they tell us it is, but we can prove that it's not the shadow, right? That it's not the shadow of the Earth. Take a basketball and get a single source light and face it at a wall or even the sun and put the basketball on the ground and look at the perfect shadow of the basketball on the ground. It's got a perfect curve to it. Now move it away from the ground or away from the wall, and before you're 10 feet away, there's no more shadow. There's no sharp edge. It's completely blurred out, right? So how do we get a shadow of an Earth on a moon 250,000 miles away with a perfect curve? And this is hard for people to wrap their minds around because we're never taught to think this way. But the shadow of the Earth on the moon, the shadow of a ball onto another ball doesn't come in as a perfect curve and exit the same way. It comes in as a tight ellipse, it spreads out, and then it leaves as an ellipse, right? So if I did it on, I can't show you because you guys can't see that, but you guys have heard of the Seleninian eclipse, of course? Yes, no? The Seleninian eclipse is, there's been a bunch of them where the observer, you're always on the top of the Earth, can see the sun and the moon above the horizon on both sides. Well, that means that the Earth is not in line with them, because if it was in line, they would be dipping below the horizon, right? And worse than that, the eclipse starts, but the eclipse comes in from the top. Now look at it. You got the Earth and the moon and the sun, right? And you're standing here. It's not going to eclipse until something is dipping below the horizon. And how's the shadow going to come in from the top? So, does that tell us how an eclipse happens? No. But it tells us it's not the Earth casting a shadow. And then, of course, Bill Nye, the lying guy with the bow tie, will show you an eclipse, with a line going, oh, look, if the Earth was flat, the eclipse would look like this. That's a straw man. Right? First, he's using the helio-nonsensical model, saying that it's the Earth, and it's a flat Earth, and that the flat Earth is a disc. Nobody believes that. Only globe believers believe. So, the phases of the moon are not caused by sun reflecting off of them. Go outside on a sunny day to anywhere that has. You ever see those just for street decoration or stop cars from going through, they'll have a giant cement ball. Find a place that has a cement sphere, okay? And go out at noon and look at that sphere. How come it's not lit up like the moon? The moon is so bright, I can read by it in the middle of nowhere with no other lights. I can drive with my car lights off. It casts my shadow on the ground. How
How does a dusty, dirty ball reflect sunlight that bright? It's impossible. Go out tonight and look at Jupiter will be in the sky tonight. And the way you can tell it, it's 10 times brighter than any other light in the sky other than the moon. It's so bright, it literally looks like a little piece of the sun. How does a dusty, dirty ball, a dusty, gassy ball that's way farther from the sun than we are? So if you're on Jupiter, the sun is tiny. It's smaller than we see the sun. Okay? So that little sun is lighting up gassy Jupiter, and it's reflecting all the way back to us, as bright as the sun. Does that make any sense?
No.
Doesn't make any sense. Right? And then, people go, whoa, look, NASA has took great pictures, and NASA just put this out. Whoops, I want that. NASA put this out, that they got these great pictures of Jupiter, and people will just believe this. Look, this great. This is a craft that's going by Jupiter. This is one of the moons of Jupiter. And look, a satellite took a picture of itself in front of Jupiter. Okay, and then they show you this. I mean, I think some of the freshmen could do this in art class or at the fair. Look at this. Okay, this is Jupiter. All right, but people will be like, "Oh, it's so cool! It's so cool!" Right? And they just want to believe. They just want to believe. So,